Before we get into it, let me introduce myself, our speakers today, and first, a little bit about the Incubator for Artificial Intelligence. The Incubator for Artificial Intelligence, or I.AI, is a crack team of technical experts within government formed a little over a year ago, so in November 2023, with the mission to harness the opportunities of AI to improve lives, to drive growth, and to deliver better public services. The team is now part of the Government Digital Service within the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, but was previously founded within the Cabinet Office in Number 10. And what we do, in a nutshell, is we prototype and deploy AI solutions to build a modern digital government and to deliver on the government's missions. So my name is Michael Padfield. I'm one of you guys. I'm a policy professional by trade. So I've experience in bill management, working to pass the Seafarers Wages Bill, now Act, in private offices, in the office of the Master of the Rolls, and also doing secretariat work in the Economic and Domestic Secretariat. And what you're about to see is some of the things that I've experienced as a policy professional and how I think they can be bolstered with this new tech. I now work as strategy manager in the Incubator for AI, which means that I work with our ministers in the Department for Science to move forward AI adoption in government. And I'm particularly interested in what the policy professional of the future looks like. And I'm incredibly lucky to be joined by two technical experts who really are at the vanguard of AI in government and public services. But I'll let them introduce themselves. So, Liam.
Hi everybody, my name is Liam Wilkinson. I'm the head of AI incubation here at the Incubator for AI. I started my career in the civil service way back when in defence and national security before a brief spell in big tech at Microsoft before coming back into government about a year and a bit ago. But great to be with you all. Duncan?
Thanks. Hello, I'm Duncan Brown. I'm the head of software engineering at I.AI. So I spend lots of my time thinking about how we can take some of these innovative technologies and put them into products which really have an impact. Before I worked here, I worked at the Department for Education, leading the digital transformation of teacher recruitment services. And before that, I worked in startups in publishing and edtech.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. These guys genuinely are great. So do think of your questions. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So, big question, why is AI important in the policy profession in the first place? Well, I think we're in a whole new world. Gone are the days where institutional memory could be stored in the minds of an individual, a Sir Humphrey Appleby figure, if you will. And instead, the policy professional of today has to process thousands of data sources to make scientific and strategic decisions about what makes good policy. And all of this, in today's society, is with heightened accountability to the general public. And as this information at the fingertips of the policy professional keeps expanding, the tools at the disposal of the policy professional must evolve too. And we, as a policy professional, in my view, have a duty to the public to make the use of the best available technology to help us make best decisions for the citizen. So we don't want a civil service of Sir Humphrey Appleby's anymore. Or do we? So the last 2 weeks have been the most significant in government AI adoption, possibly ever. So this is an incredibly pertinent and important time to be speaking to you today. Not only have we had the publication of the AI Opportunities Action Plan, which makes 50 recommendations for the government to help it harness AI, all of which have now been accepted, and some of which we in the Incubator will be on the hook for delivering. But we're also 1 week on from the launch of the Government Digital Service. This launch announced a suite of government AI tools nicknamed Humphrey, after Sir Humphrey Appleby, which you're about to see this morning. So, you guys are very lucky. You're about to see Humphrey in action, empowering the civil servant to cut through bureaucracy and make good policy. Our scenario today for some demos of some AI tools will be centered around how the policy profession and a private office could use artificial intelligence to help a minister launch the AI Opportunities Action Plan. As you know, this was published in real life 2 weeks ago, but I want you to use your imagination for the purposes of the next half hour or so. We're going to transport back to the beginning of January in a world pre-action plan. And we're going to imagine that the plan, instead of being scheduled for publication in January, was in fact scheduled for publication in March. So we're on Sunday, the 5th of January. Let's imagine, work in the AI minister's private office. And I'm on the weekend rota. But there's a problem. I get a phone call from number 10 policy unit. That can never be good news over the weekend. And what do they tell me? They say that given diary constraints, the Prime Minister has asked my AI minister to bring forward the publication of the AI Opportunities Action Plan by 2 whole months, from early March as scheduled to early January. In short, the PM has given my minister just 1 week to get the action plan out to the public. But the policy has not been finalised, let alone signed off, introduced to Parliament, or launched. Oh dear, we have a problem. And just to be clear, this scenario is entirely fictional. It's a bit of fun. No civil servants were harmed in the creation of this demo. So what will the AI minister need to do, supported by their AI-empowered private office and policy profession? Well, over the next half hour, they will need to finalise the policy underpinning the AI Opportunities Action Plan by going through a call for evidence. They'll need to get Cabinet collective agreement on the policy and its contents. They'll need to introduce the policy to Parliament and debate its measures. And then they'll need to launch the policy with a media event, all in just 1 week. And we're going to show to you how a suite of AI tools could unlock this process. Specifically, Consult, a consultation response analyzer, Minute, an AI transcription tool, Parlex, a tool for analysing Hansard, and Redbox, a general purpose AI tool offering access to large language models. And while we run through this presentation, keep in mind how you would do these tasks normally. As a policy professional myself, I've waded through consultation responses. I've struggled to keep up with a fast-paced meeting. I spent ages control-Fing through Hansard to gain parliamentary insights, and I failed to think creatively about how my work might land in the media. So let's get going. It's Monday, the 6th of January. The clock is ticking before launch at the end of the week. In fact, the call for evidence on the AI action plan only closed a few days ago. How will the minister possibly finalise these plans in a meaningful way? Over to you, Duncan.
Thanks, Michael. So the late Jeremy Haywood, former cabinet secretary, said consultation is one of the most important activities government can undertake. By consulting effectively, we improve both the making of policy and its implementation. And that's absolutely right. So frank engagement with policy, with citizens is not just a duty of government, but it can actually make better policy if we can do it right and in a way that's consistent and effective. However, this process is currently really unsatisfactory for both citizens and policymakers for some reasons I'll go into, and it's particularly unsatisfactory for us in this scenario because we only have a week to read over 12,000 responses to this call for evidence. So here are some ways in which the current process falls short. First of all, it takes a really long time. It takes months and months because you have to eyeball every single response. Secondly, thousands of people hours are spent on tedious tasks, amassing, collecting, and collating the information. No single person can be expected to process thousands of responses, and yet we put this expectation on people. We demand that they're consistent and correct at all times, and we sort of simply push up against the limits of sort of human capability there. This costs a lot of money. It doesn't just cost a lot of money in terms of simply civil servant time, but also what happens is that departments will often go and procure external suppliers to do a lot of the analysis and processing of consultations for them, which creates this sort of industry in consultation analysis, just because government wants to do the right thing but can't really afford to. And then a process which isn't consistent means that we do inevitably miss some of the stuff that makes consultations worthwhile. We can't get insights from those diverse perspectives. And all this adds up to a picture where policy professionals, when surveyed, say that consultation is not a valuable use of their time. So now that we're under the gun for the AI action plan deadline, I'm going to show you consult. So the data we're going to look at in this demo is example data, because the consultation data can actually be sensitive, and happy to take questions about the data protection issues around this later. In the example you're about to see, the responses have been uploaded to the service and the tool has run, and we'll be exploring some of the findings in the way that consult tool presents them. And just give a sense of how long this analysis process takes. For a consultation with 16,000 responses and 32 questions, we're looking at a cost of about £1,000 and a duration of about an afternoon. It looks like the demo's already started, but I'll just talk you through some of the things which you can see on the screen right now. So first of all, you can see up here, we've got a question here. We've analysed the sentiment of the responses into positive and negative, but of course, this isn't the only way we can split them up. There are some themes underneath here, which Consult has extracted from the responses. And then underneath, you can see this quantitative data from a multiple choice question. So clicking in, we can see a bit more detail about those themes, and we can also see some data visualizations here for what's happened here. So, and then indeed, you can drill down into the responses themselves and get a little bit more of a sort of qualitative take. You can see the tool will give a reason for why it's assigned a theme to a given response, and a given response can have multiple themes. So we haven't shown a part of the process that happens just before the analysis, which is on the left of this slide, where we provide users with an opportunity to shape the themes that Consult is going to apply. So choosing response categories is one of the toughest tasks that teams processing consultations have to do, because effectively, if you buckets, you are potentially shaping the report that you write in the end. So what we want to do is support really rapid iteration on those themes, so that you as a policy professional can look at what sort of buckets the tool is sorting things into, give it a bit of a sniff test, and get a sense of how you might want to shape that. Likewise, once we've assigned the responses to the themes, this process of mapping themes to responses, again, everything's available for review and amendment. So I just want to stress this one point, which is whether you're creating anything, whether it's a one-page letter to a minister or a 50-page consultation report, you're drafting and you're redrafting and you're shaping as you go and you're learning as you go. And by supporting this reviewing and amending workflow, we're trying to keep you, the policy professional, in the driving seat. So Consult just wouldn't make sense without a team to guide it. So in a nutshell, Consult is fast, it's consistent, and it's cheap. And I just want to point out that we've open sourced the underlying code for the algorithm that does the analysis. So if you've got some documents that you think this process could be applied to, they don't have to be consultations, then potentially you could apply that if you can grab a friendly data scientist or just upskill yourself using one of the many tools potentially online. And we're always happy to hear from people who want to put these tools to different uses. So please do get in touch either in the chat or afterwards if that's you. So it's been a busy week. We've shaped our response, and thanks to Consult, we've moved quickly and surely through over 10,000 responses here, and we've pulled out all the key angles. Of course, what the civil service wants to do next is have a meeting about it. So back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Duncan. So the policy has now been finalised. The minister's used the consultation tool to go through the call for evidence and decide exactly what she wants to do, or he, with regards to the AI Opportunities Action Plan. So that was Monday. Now it's Tuesday. And the AI minister has summoned the cabinet to 70 Whitehall, the cabinet office, to secure collective agreement on the AI Opportunities Action Plan, as ministers must do for any new policy. So getting the various secretaries of state from government to sign off these proposals to ensure that they're happy with how it talks about policies related to their department. So AI opportunities, there's lots of equities here. The meeting to secure collective agreement is set to be really fast-paced, with conflicting viewpoints and lots of actions needed to get the plan over the line and to enable publication. So it's a tough job for a secretariat. And here comes Minute. So Minute is a secure AI transcription service for meetings up to official sensitive. And I should stress, Minute is a new tool that we've developed since we last spoke to the policy profession in October. So it just goes to show how quickly we can go about building things in the incubator. And crucially, Minute provides customizable summaries in the formats that you guys need in the civil service. So let's create this cabinet meeting to secure formal collective agreement on the AI Opportunities Action Plan. And what you can see on screen here is not the cabinet room in 10 Downing Street. This is the makeshift I.AI cabinet room in 70 Whitehall. And this is the inaugural meeting of the I.AI cabinet. And you can see Liam in the bottom left corner acting as AI minister. You can see myself in the back acting as transport minister. And the other guys are some of the engineers who actually built Minute itself, playing the roles of justice, health, and environment ministers. So they're about to have a cabinet meeting to discuss agreement on the AI Opportunities Action Plan. Should we listen in for a bit?
Good morning, everyone. At the request of number 10, I'll be presenting the AI Opportunities Action Plan to Parliament this Wednesday. Before doing so, I need your clearance and input to ensure it aligns with the strategic needs of your departments. Let's discuss how we can refine the plan with your thoughts. Environment Secretary, can we start with?
Amazing. Liam, I think you make a very good minister in case you fancy a career change down the line. So the meeting's concluded. The I.AI cabinet has met and discussed the AI Opportunities Action Plan, but we now need to make a formal note of this meeting. So let's have a look at Minute itself. We have an audio file, and what you've just seen is how the tool can filter out background noise to focus on the speakers in the meeting. I'm going to take this audio file and upload it into Minute. I should add the tool also allows you to record the meeting there and then, as well as processing uploaded audio. And this is done totally securely. In fact, we've already trialed this tool in meetings with ministers. And as mentioned, the tool has powerful speech recognition. In fact, it does this automatically, pulling out the meeting speakers and giving them titles. I might need to edit a few names, as you can see here, and can check the identification of each speaker by playing a short sample. This will then edit all of the occurrences of that speaker in the transcript. And then once I'm happy with the transcript, I want to make it into a useful format. And so I've got some templates uploaded here. There's care assessments for social care workers, but as a secretariat in the Cabinet Office, I'm interested in the Cabinet Office style guide. Any of you who've had to work in this style, you know this is not the most intuitive. So this will take a second to process, uploading the meeting transcript and generating it into an official Cabinet Office style minute. I can also upload my agenda to make sure the note follows the meeting format. And this is the output, the formal Cabinet minute. And I can ask questions of the note. For example, what did the Justice Secretary say about the AI Opportunities Plan? What changes did they want to make? And the tool can run away and do that. The tool also provides deep citations. So I know exactly where in the transcript is the source of the various points so that you can be confident that it's translated that correctly. I might also want to make some AI-powered tweaks. For example, the note might be too long, so I might want to get the AI to shorten it. I might even want to add in some emojis. Now, I'm not sure that this is what Chris Wormold, the new Cabinet Secretary, would recommend, but this is the I.AI Cabinet, and we make the rules here. So you can see here the formal Cabinet minute generated with emojis. And last but not least, I'll give some positive feedback for the team, because after all, minute has saved me hours in typing up a note and ensured that I've captured all of the crucial points and actions which underpin collective agreement for the action plan. So Minute is powerful, it's secure, and it's tailored to government. And it is rolling out across government and local authorities today, which is really, really exciting. So there we have it. We have a formal note covering the key actions, securing collective agreement for the AI Opportunities Action Plan. Tuesday is out. It's been a busy day, but we're getting there. We're getting there. But it's now time for a big debate in Parliament on Wednesday. So over to you, Liam.
Hello, everybody. So I'm going to be taking you through some of the stuff we've been building on top of Hansard. We all know that this is the place where we start. Looking at the website, maybe you have the physical books, I'm not sure about yourselves, but it's an awful lot of context that takes an awful lot of skill to get through. It's quite easy when you know what you're after. If you know the particular speaker you're looking for or the debate which you want to dive into, you can go and find that quite quickly. But when you don't have that, when you're looking at a potentially complex policy area, which is referred to in many different ways in massively different language by different parliamentarians, it can get really difficult to get to the root of the issue at its core. So what we've been building over the last few months is Parlex. So last time I came over and presented, we showed off Lex, which is our legislative focus tool. Parlex is our evolution into the parliamentary kind of intelligence space and the work done by build teams who create handling plans. So in a nutshell, it's a suite of AI-driven tools to explore legislation and parliamentary developments. And probably the best way to kick off is by sharing its features. So the first one is research by debate. So I'm going to slightly travel forward in time a little bit to see how we can take a debate on the AI Opportunities Action Plan and summarize that through into Insight. But equally, we have access to every single debate which has happened all the way back to 2020. So we have plenty of things to choose from. But here it is in action. I can immediately go over in the Parlex interface to grab research by debate. And here I can copy and paste in the name of the debate, but equally we can discover all of the different debates which have happened on artificial intelligence over the last several years. Taking this, we have 80 different contributions by several different members of the House, and I can immediately begin to summarize that with recognition for some of the key players in that debate. Who was representing the government at a ministerial level? Who was representing the opposition on the front bench? Who in the backbenches were contributing and which party were they representing? All of this is intended to give you a very quick way to get a readout of a particular debate which might have just happened or happened a few days ago. And of course, we keep track of whether or not there was actually a vote attached to that. And in this case, we didn't have any quotes. I just saw a question pop through about parliamentary questions. We are integrating those as we speak. So next up is the more topical part. This is where we're using a lot of the power of our search engine over all of Hansard with an AI helping us to analyze members' contributions. So what we'll do is we'll take the AI Opportunities Action Plan. We have 50 different recommendations to choose from. And what we can do is take one of those recommendations, say on AI growth zones, and we can take that very particular policy and measure the temperature of Parliament on that. So I've copy and pasted that. I'm going to swap over into Parlex. I'm going to go to research by topic. Here I can describe myself so it can tailor its outputs to my needs. And here I can go through and have a look at all of the data we have back to 2020. So I'm going to paste in the proposal here. It's best if you work with something like a proposition or a particular policy description. I'm going to filter it down to the last year of data or so. And then I can very quickly run an analysis on all of the different topical contributions in this space. So this is reading through thousands and thousands of pages of Hansard, which frankly, for a human to do, wouldn't be time feasible with the kind of timelines we're working on. And immediately at the top, you can see some of the different members, their contributions, whether or not they're from the House or the Lords. and we can go through and see a top-level summary based on what they've been saying in Parliament and how they might feel about this particular policy area. So it looks at directly relevant debates, but equally it's looking at tangentially related debates like the Great British Energy Bill, which mentioned stuff around data centre power supply. And equally, here we could see Dame Caroline Dinenage has some comments around funding for the culture sector as opposed to the AI sector there. So this is a really quick way to be able to just test the temperature of Parliament on any given issue. Of course, we have full export here, so you can take all of the different content, you can take the verbatim transcripts and export those to be analysed in slower time. And here we can see we can generate a subgroup summary for a particular group of parliamentarians to be able to take that to our bill team, take it to our minister and help them prepare for a debate. Speaking of ministers, the last one I'm going to show here is called Research by Parliamentarian. So bill teams are often going out, meeting with parliamentarians and talking to them about policy. And what it's often helpful to have is a quick way to be able to go through and have a look at some of the issues they care most about from their recent contributions. So naturally, let's put our own minister in here, Peter Kyle. What we could see immediately is the biography from the Parliament website. The Parliament team have one of the most fantastic APIs in the world. We would not have been able to do this without them. And what it now enables us to do is to ask these broad-ranging questions around what have they said on the AI Opportunities Action Plan. So again, I've skipped forward in time a little bit here. And in just a moment, we can see that it's reading through an awful lot and has gone to that particular debate which we looked at earlier, the AI Opportunities Action Plan. And naturally, we have the verbatim transcript, which links all the way through back into Hansard. Transcriptions and citations are the core of how we help keep Parlex grounded and stop it from hallucinating. But as part of the training that we do for this tool, we have to acknowledge that AI does make mistakes, but I can answer a few questions on how we're doing that later on. And here I can generate a quick biography. So let's say I was going to go meet the minister or another member of parliament. I can very quickly generate a little bit of a summary about them and some of the key topics which we've been talking about recently. So that is Parlex in a nutshell. A feature which I'm not showing currently here today is another one called Tailored Daily Readouts. That allows you to be able to get a daily summary sent to your inbox of the topics which you care most about. But for now, I'm going to send this up to the minister. Splendid. Looks like we're good, and it's time to move on to launching it. So for the policy launch, I'm going to take some of the AI Opportunities Action Plan with 50 different recommendations here, and I'm going to bring it to one of our most general use tools called Redbox. So Redbox is a project I've been working on for a long while now, and the team have been building up into the easiest to use generative AI service for government by government, along with a few different perks of why we built this. But probably best just to see it in action. So here I have the AI Opportunities Action Plan, all 26 pages of it. And what I can do immediately is take this, upload it into Redbox. So you can see I've uploaded that on the left-hand side. I can select my large language model of choice. So I can choose a lightweight one or a very intelligent one. And I can go through, and naturally, this is me, I want bullet points with emojis for each of the 50 different policy areas there. And so you can see streaming in real time a whole bunch of detail in a kind of social media ready post that I could send out to colleagues or put out through comms channels. And here I can ask it to make a very particular social media post advertising some of that policy there to our comms team. This is a pretty trivial example of how you can use Redbox. But it's safe to say whenever you have any large amounts of documents that you need to analyze, do work on, transform, understand, cross-analyze, look for discrepancies, Redbox is that go-to Swiss Army knife for processing through documents in a secure and compliant way. And really, that's at the core of what we're doing here. Secure AI usage at official sensitive, a choice of the latest AI providers, and it's open source, transparent, and cheap. I used to work at Microsoft. I know that Copilot is coming, but Copilot isn't deployed in many departments at the moment. So what we're looking to do is meet the demand there, but equally provide a really cheap choice of many different models from many different providers in one application, which is the core of what we're doing. So that is Redbox in a nutshell. what we can do is take up our plan and our social media post. We can run that by the minister, and it looks like we're good to launch. Wonderful. With that, back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Liam. And again, so exciting to see some of those new parliamentary tools that have been spun up in literally the last few weeks. So congratulations, guys. In just 4 days, we've launched the AI Opportunities Action Plan, and we have a very happy Prime Minister. And I just wanted to loop back to what I said at the beginning. How would you have done all this work normally? I mean, I've struggled in finalising policy and wading through consultation responses and not really having a scientific approach to improving my recommendations. We've all found minute taking really annoying, and it's been distracting from concentrating on what's actually being discussed in the meeting and spending ages typing it up into the desired formats and missing out crucial bits of information. I'm sure that tool really resonates with all of you here. And I've been drowned in Hansard information. Again, not doing parliamentary handling in a scientific way at all. And then with comms, I don't really have an imaginative brain, so I struggle when it comes to thinking creatively about launching a policy. So instead, what have we done? Well, the AI-empowered policy professional has used Consult to generate key insights from a call for evidence on the AI action plan, has used Minute to write up a note of a critical, fast-paced meeting securing collective agreement on the action plan's recommendations, has used Parlex to prepare the minister for a big debate in Parliament, and then has used Redbox to put the finishing touches to announcement plans. And let me just linger on that point about finishing touches. So these tools are either finishing touches or starting points. They do not replace you as the policy professional and your decision-making capabilities. They provide first cuts. They provide frameworks for thought. They provide ways of navigating information that already exists. These are tools to empower the policy professional, fundamentally. So that is Gov.AI, also known as Humphrey, as you may have seen in the media, which was announced last week and is coming to you all very soon. And as mentioned, all of these tools are in pilot stages, and we can talk a little bit about some of the timelines for rollout. But we're moving fast in the incubator. And that's not all that we do in I.AI. So as part of the AI Opportunities Action Plan, the incubator will be tasked with developing tools to build a modern digital government, such as those you've seen this morning, but also to unlock delivery against the government's key missions in health, justice, and clean energy. And you can find out more about all of these projects on ai.gov.uk. So ai.gov.uk. I can post a link to that in the chat.